Attorney General sues Patterson for breach of contract, scamming Yuri's wife charged with fake Rona test. In the region, Cuban government greenlights private business ownership, and cyberbullying politicians. Another concerning trend. I am Noriko Bulford, and welcome to tonight's edition of Uncut News. Nondalol has filed a multi-million-dollar lawsuit against Jamaican company Nevpro Realization Inc. David Patterson, former permanent secretary of the Ministry of Public Infrastructure, Balram Balraj, and Lawrence Mentis over breach of a contract. Back in 2016, the Ministry of Public Infrastructure ordered 3 weigh-in motion scales, valued at 72 million Guyana dollars. Though the ministry paid the Jamaican importer, the scales were never delivered. So now Nondalol is suing them on the behalf of the state. The Attorney General wants the court to order the Jamaican company to pay back the 72 million. But wait, there's more. He is also seeking more than $50 million in damages from Pato, Balraj, and Mentis for their negligence to the state. And to top it off, he is seeking an additional $100 million for aggravated damages. Yesterday, the governments of Guyana and Suriname agreed to pursue proposals to craft a joint strategy to develop natural gas reserves, which also potentially aims at tapping into the Brazil market. They have also decided to invite Brazil and French Guiana to be part of an energy summit to discuss the Arco Norte gas pipeline and electricity generation project. This project proposes interconnecting the power grids of Guyana, northern Brazil, Suriname, and French Guiana. In addition to agreements regarding oil and gas, the two governments also agreed that Suriname will license Guyanese fishermen to operate in Surinamese waters by 2022. They also noted that the licenses would take into account the established quota on the Surinamese side. While the government has made this promise, one opposition party over there has registered its objection. Leader of the National Democratic Party, Rabin Parmesser, strongly objected to the plan to license Guyanese fisherfolk because it is not in the interest of Suriname, calling it an attack on the nation's fishing industry. He has also called on Surinamese fisherfolks to protest the proposal. The Ministry of Health has allocated some 26 million Guyana dollars for the restoration of the National Psychiatric Hospital following this month's major fire at the facility. Thus far, works have since been executed to refurbish the mental health facility. The burned segment of the hospital will see the replacement of 18 beds. In addition to the dorm, several other buildings on the campus will also be refurbished. Are you one of the chosen few that benefits from duty-free? Good for you! Check out these amazing vehicles that just arrived at Best Buy Auto Sales. This 2016 Toyota Harrier Grand Sport Edition, this 2014 Range Rover Evoque, and this 2016 Lexus RX 200T are all on sale. They are all fully loaded and come with all modern features. Call or WhatsApp 662-0844 for more info, or visit their showrooms at Lot 171 Peter Rose Street, Queenstown, or Lot 2 Lamont Street, and tell them Noriko sent you to get in on a sweet deal. Scamming Yuri's wife and Ponzi scheme co-accused Atika Ishmael was today charged for allegedly forging a Rona test. Last month, the couple failed to appear in court as their lawyer claimed they had the Rona. But the cops claimed it was a fake test, and as a consequence, Ishmael was charged with conspiracy to commit a felony. She pleaded not guilty and was released on $200,000 bail. The matter was adjourned to September 10, 2021. Yesterday, 25-year-old Akeem Martin was shot in the leg by police officers after he stole a cell phone in Georgetown. Police said that the cops were on patrol along Kroll Street when they came across Martin robbing a woman of her cell phone. He allegedly ran until the cops cornered him on South Road. They shot him in the leg after claiming that he had attacked them with a knife. Martin is currently in the hospital under police guard. The family of policeman Carl Roach has accepted a $5 million settlement from 39-year-old Tawanda Clark, the driver who was charged with causing Roach's death in an accident on Brick Dam on November 25, 2019. This led to the prosecution withdrawing the charge against Clark on Tuesday when she appeared before the Georgetown Magistrates Court. So now Clark is free as a bird. even though she killed a man with her vehicle. But hey, at least she's nice enough to compensate the family, unlike Gary Best. Yes, I still vex. I tell you, I'm not letting this go until he's in Lusignan. It's now time for today's Runner Report. Today, the nation recorded 111 new cases. There are now 591 persons dead, 16 in the ICU, 1,088 in home isolation. The total number of confirmed cases around the nation now stands at 24,047. So please, people, wash your hands frequently. Avoid touching your nose and mouth and mask up before you leave the house. When you do leave home, try to avoid enclosed spaces and large crowds. And remember to give 6 feet of space between you and others. Don't miss the grand 50% off sale and get a free 1-month digital Prime bundle plan. Available at City Mall, Starbucks Square, Regent and Light Street, Massey Turkine, and Massey Providence. Shop early, limited stocks available. Now to take a look at the region. History is in the making as Cuban President Miguel Diaz-Canel has given Cubans permission to start their own businesses, a move observers say could be the first step towards economic reforms to help respond to Washington's ongoing blockade and the debilitating impact of the pandemic on the economy. The move to relax a 50-odd-year-old centralized Cuban economy will be seen outside Cuba as a possible step towards an eventually far more liberalized economic system, supposedly. Over in Afghanistan, the Taliban cracked down on protests that erupted in at least 4 cities in Afghanistan on Thursday and rounded up opponents despite promises of amnesty, as thousands of people continued a frenzied rush to leave the country. Hundreds of protesters took to the streets for a second day to rally against their rule, this time marching in Kabul, the capital, as well as other cities. Again, the Taliban met them with force, using gunfire and beatings to disperse crowds. The Taliban were stepping up an intensive search for people who worked with US, NATO forces, and members of the former Afghan security services. Though the Taliban have said there would be no reprisals, there have been arrests, property seizures, and scattered reports of reprisal killings. And now for our stupid news of the day. You know what I think is stupid? The fact that we have a cyberbullying law and the politicians are the biggest cyberbullies. One day it's Ferguson screaming about a death squad. Another day it's Schumann insulting the intelligence of the unvaccinated. And the next day it's Sherrod Duncan being, well, Sherrod Duncan. Now, the latest act of political cyberbullying has got me genuinely concerned because it shows you just how anti-democratic some of these politicians can be. During a recent protest, one loudmouth OPNU activist accused the government of being discriminatory. So in response, Susan Rodriguez, Charles Ramson, and Priya Manikchan decided that the best way to respond to this criticism was to just accuse the lady of lying, and they said that the government couldn't be discriminatory because this particular woman was approved for a house lot just this year. Now, this is a dangerous precedent, they have said. Yes, the woman may have been biased, but they are spiteful. These 3 ministers have proven that they are willing to use their public social media platforms to target a private citizen for exercising their right to protest. Remember, lions don't lose sleep over the opinions of sheep. They could have done the politically mature thing and just ignored her. That way, she would have just been just another forgettable APNU supporter complaining about everything, just as usual. But after posting this, the comments were full of hateful threats and even persons claiming to know where the woman is. So if she gets attacked by some crazed supporter, that's on those 3 ministers' heads. Not only that, but they've now given her power. Power and attention they were hoping to diffuse with their insults. Because for some objective thinking Guyanese, they don't see this as a government trying to dispel rumors. They see 3 politicians who are insecure in their power, so they have to flex it every now and then. I could go on and on, but what I'm trying to get at is that allowing politicians to cyberbully private citizens online is pretty stupid. You there, Mr. Truck Owner. A great place to get high-quality truck parts and engine spares for low prices is Powered Automotive. They stock parts for DAF, Freightliner, Mach, International, and all models of Cummins engines. Visit them at Lot 1161 EE Eccles, or call them on 697-0171. Save big on truck parts at Powered Automotive, the #1 heavy-duty truck parts store in Guyana. Real thing. Moving on to our Uncut News Views poll question of the day. Every day we pose a question about current events in the nation, the region, the diaspora, and how you feel it relates to us. So you give your responses in the comments, and we'll read the best one in the following episode. Yesterday's question was, what economic ventures should Guyana and Suriname cooperate on? Jay Jairam says, Holland legalized weed a long time ago. Suriname, being a former Dutch colony, should join hands with Guyana and cultivate weed, which can be exported to Holland. Legalize it, don't criticize it. And Suresh says, they can improve the agricultural industry by taking steps to ensure farmers get better prices for their produce. Suggestions. The government should provide transportation. Use them stray animal vehicles they have parked up in the sun and rain for years on Brick Dam by Ministry of Home Affairs. And produce storage areas where the farmers can take their produce where government employees are to sell to retailers. I think India actually had something kind of similar to that, and that's why they're protesting is because they want to get rid of it. King Tut says, the two governments should embark on a free trade economy, free movement of people, goods and services. And finally, Ryan Douglas says, all the governments just do what they want. What happened to democracy? What happened to what the people want? Because it seems like we don't have a choice about anything. Our government makes all the choices for us and leave people with no alternative, power, or hope. Well, you just like the opposition over there in Suriname and just complain about it. I mean, if you make enough of a stink, they have to listen. So, for tonight's question, this one we're taking a look at the region. Cuba is restarting its private sector. Do you think this decision will have any impact on the regional economy or even regional politics? Think about that question and tell us in the comments below. If your response is good enough, we just might feature it in our next episode. Anyway, that's all the time we have for tonight. Check us out Monday for another. Until then, I'm Rico Bulford saying, have a great weekend. And as always, don't drink and drive, or you'll end up on Monday's episode the hard way. Ha-ha! Good night, folks. Hey, Uncut News viewers, thanks for watching. You can subscribe by clicking on this button over here, or click over there for more news. You can also drop a comment to let me know if you've made it to the end of the video. Goodbye for now.